Okay, mine said that the meeting started on my screen here. It popped up, meeting started. See the jump? Dishwasher was full, huh? Ah,
What time is your meeting, or is it over?
still going.
Oh,
Waiting. Get up line. I got 400 people on it. Waiting for the board of zoning.
ah,
And they're naturally right outside. Oh, they're on time naturally. Mute, mute, okay.
Hello. Hi, we are able to hear you. We are going to get started with the hearing in just a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arlisha Wilson. I'll be the chair of today's meeting. Today is Monday, October 6th, and we're going to get started with the reading of the preamble. Madam Secretary?
Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, October 6, 2025. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you. Can we call the roll, please?
Sure. Ms. Faith?
Here.
Mr. Madison?
Here.
Ms. Holzer? Present. Ms. Roca is running behind, and Ms. Wilson.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 4 members. At this time, the appellant should be made aware that with 4 members at the table, they run the risk of a tied vote. If there is a tied vote, then the variance is denied. So they are welcome to wait until we have the 5th member at the board, at the table. Otherwise, if they are okay with us moving forward with 4 members, or they can also postpone if they'd like. However, we do know that Ms. Roca will be joining us in 5 to 6 minutes, she stated.
Okay. Is there any appellant who would wish to postpone their matter given the number of board members at the table? Also, just understand that we will have a 5th member hopefully in about 5 minutes. But if you wish to postpone, now is your time to speak up. I'm not hearing anything, so I will ask if there are any other postponements.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one case that was postponed previously, but I should still announce it. Calendar number 25-132 at 1944 West 48th Street. Raymond Perez proposed to establish a type A daycare in a B1 2-family residential district. This case we found has a res judicata issue, and it was postponed from the original date on August 11th to allow time for the appellant to receive the written transcript. We have had some difficulties getting a written transcript for a 1996 tape, cassette tape. So we've had to postpone this an additional time. I believe that we are going to have that transcript this week. So just for the record, for your information, we're very close to finishing that for the appellant.
Okay.
So this case has been postponed to October 20th. The appellant is aware of it, and letters have gone out as of last week for the October 20th date.
Okay, very good. So we will not take testimony in calendar number 25-132. That will be postponed. Do we have any other postponements or withdrawals?
We have one withdrawal, calendar number 25-131, and that is Goldie One Properties LLC at 12029 Lorraine Avenue. This is a violation notice, and I believe this is a smoke shop case. The appellants informed us that they are going to comply with the code and no longer wish to seek an appeal from this violation notice.
Okay, very good. So there will be no testimony taken in calendar number 25-131. So if you are here for that case, you are free to leave. Do we have any other postponements or withdrawals?
And that'll do it.
All right, so we'll go ahead and call the first case. This is calendar number 25-092. This is at 3601 West Park Road. Do we have anyone present from 780 East Smith Street, East Smith Road LLC? Is there an appellant present from 780 East Smith Road LLC? Okay, I can see that Jill Brent has raised her hand. We'll go ahead and read in the case. Ms. Holzer?
Our first case is calendar number 25-092. This is at 3601 West Park Road, 780 East Smith Road LLC. Owner proposes to change use from a gym to a bakery and cafe in a B1 local retail zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. This case was postponed from June 23rd at the request of the appellant due to a scheduling conflict. It was postponed again on July 14th at the request of the councilman to allow time for further review. And it was again postponed on August 25th at the request of the city to allow time for adjudication, or for the adjudication to be revised to reflect the correct intended use of the property. No testimony has been taken. And with that, Madam Chair, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, we will swear in those who would like to speak to this case. Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start here in the room, then we'll make our way to those who are online.
I do. Charles Slife, 601 Lakeside Avenue. There may be some other appellants coming in person, so if we're able to swear them in when they arrive, if that's allowable.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll move over to those who are online. Joe, can you please unmute?
Yes, I swear I do.
And can you please say your name, spell your name, and provide an address for the record?
Yes, it's Jill Brandt, JILLBRANDT, and the address is 2220 Wooster Road, Rocky River, Ohio 44116.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present?
Yes, I'm President Greg Somerville, 16112 West Park Road, Cleveland.
And can you please reply if I do, Greg, that you swear?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Can we just have you
Greg,
spell your name for the record, Greg?
SOMERVILLE.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present? With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. So we will now go to history of the property, please.
And Madam Chair, if we could note for the record that Ms. Roca has joined us at the table, so we have a 5-member.
Absolutely.
Thank you. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1950, it was changed to local retail business. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1929, a permit was issued to erect a one-story brick stores building. In 1946, a permit was issued to erect a suite at the rear of the building. There are 2 variances on file for this address, in actually 3, I'm sorry. Calendar number 75-175 in 1976. I'm sorry, it was 76-175 in 1976. This board denied a request to change of use the easterly or southeasterly portion of the property to a game room. That was denied. In calendar 88-143, this board granted a variance in 1988 to park 4 cars in the setback area. And then in calendar 15-26 and 2015, this board granted a variance to change use to a gym in a local retail business district, contrary to the local retail business district use requirements. Also, there was a distance requirement of the gym needing to be 500 feet away from a residence district. And also there was a parking variance that was involved. And this board granted it without any conditions. And that was March 23rd, 2015. And that's all that I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum distance and parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. We'll now turn to the project team. Jill, do you want to speak first?
Jill, maybe I can kick it off because I also have a clarifying question, if that's okay with you.
Please, go right ahead.
There's been a lot of back and forth on what the specific variances being sought are. I want to clarify whether or not the use variance is required. What's being proposed is a local retail use in a local retail district. It had been previously thought to be a general retail use. So we were under the impression that we were only seeking a parking variance for this at this time. Is there a clarification on that?
Chief Leonard, I can see that your hand is raised. Please go right ahead and chime in.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Chair. There is no use variance here. You're only looking for a variance for the 12 off-street parking spaces.
Okay.
And I apologize, Madam Chair. We did send out an
Yes.
additional notice to correct that. I apologize if it didn't make it to the PowerPoint.
No worries.
So, yes,
Wanted
thank
to,
you.
before
Thank you for that.
we get too far ahead of ourselves. If I could start by giving just a little history of how we got to this point. The specific use being, or the specific variance being sought for the parking is the typical in local retail districts, but there's been a bit of a confusing sequence of events that have come here. So I think it's important just to make sure everyone's speaking the same language. You can see in the picture at the top right, 5 Points Coffee. The building at the top left is the building that we are discussing today. They are commonly owned by the owners and operators of 5 Points Coffee. And prior to 5 Points Coffee opening about 8 years ago or so, I actually lived in that apartment building prior to it opening, and I can attest to the fact that it was a vine-covered building with not a lot of action, and there was across the street a hair salon and an antique store, but a pretty quiet retail district. 5 Points Coffee has really brought a lot of vitality to this intersection. It's kind of an overnight institution. They're a very community-oriented small business, and they're on their way upstairs right now, so they can speak more to that. A few years ago, the building seeking this variance became available, and 5 Points purchased it. It had been most recently used as batting cages. Historically, it had been a convenience store and a takeout place. And they did some renovations on the interior and have created a commercial kitchen that is used for basically business to business sales for baked goods. Come on up. And we're just getting going. I'm giving a little bit of the context. Lindsay, if you want to grab a chair too. Would you like me to pause and you can swear them in, or do you want me to continue going on my diatribe? Sure. So right now what's happening is there's a commercial bakery. They are licensed through the state of Ohio, basically doing business to business sales. And the intent is to make this a full-scale retail bakery where people could come inside and actually purchase the baked goods. In order to do so, that requires the walling off of the kitchen, separating per health code the cooking area from more of like a customer area, which has kicked off the permitting process, which is why we're before BZA today. I think the confusion, a very community-oriented small business, in speaking with the city, talking about how they're looking to provide, like a third, build upon this successful third space and provide something that would be beneficial to the residents, was maybe confused as the primary business or the intent of the renovation would be to open an event center, that the purpose was to create some place where people could rent out the facility, when really it's a local retail bakery, just in the same sense that there's a coffee shop across the street. As you know, event centers allowable in general retail. They have significant parking requirements that we could not accommodate, and it became very clear to all of us that this was just lost in translation, and we needed to take a pause and make sure what their intent was of the retail bakery was clear to the city, so that we could go back to the community and have a community meeting. Bring that clarifying information. A pretty successful community meeting. People came, saw the space, were able to understand, and quite frankly, this concern is really something for the city to deal with, as this local retail area kind of comes back to life, understanding what the city can do to kind of promote traffic safety and off-street parking and make sure that cars aren't blocking driveways and things like that. Before I kick it over to Connor and Lindsay, I will note that the variance being sought, I believe, is for 12 off-street parking spaces. In that analysis, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Leonard, the city is not counting the spaces available in the setback that had been mentioned in the history, as well as an area in that narrow alley. If you go back behind the building, there is a pad where you can fit cars. So really you can fit about, let's say, 6 to 7 cars street. So while the variance being sought is for 12, we can agree that there is an availability of parking that is not requiring street parking. So in short, the idea is right now, Lindsay's baking bread and a lot of tasty things, selling them to other coffee shops, making them available at 5 Points. This will be an opportunity for people to come inside, purchase directly, and they could sit down and enjoy it inside the space. So.
Okay. So I assume you're in support
Yes.
of this project. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. All right, so let the record reflect that we have 2 additional members at the table. I'm going to ask Mr. Madison to go ahead and swear you in.
So thank you. If you can please raise your right hand and reply after me. Please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please say your name, spell your name, and state your address for the record. We'll start with you.
Yeah, hit the barrels. Okay.
Lindsay Busher, LINDSEY BUESCHER.
And your address for the record, please.
1326 Webb Road in Lakewood, Ohio.
Thank you.
Connor Boylan, CONOR BOYLAN, 3410 West 148th Street, Cleveland.
And I do?
I do.
I do.
Turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Which one of you would like to speak first?
I'm happy to jump in. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As maybe Charlie says, we are a coffee shop for the last 8 years in West Park. And the bakery itself has been 2 years as a wholesale bakery. We're very community orientated. We've seen growth year on year. We've risen from 2 full-time staff to 12 full-time staff, many of whom reside in the West Park area of Cleveland. We obviously surrounded, we're very residential. So we encourage people to walk to the coffee shop, bike to the coffee shop to alleviate, the traffic. So we feel like the next obvious step for our business is to open the bakery to the people, because the coffee shop itself, while a nice cozy coffee shop, is a little small. So we feel like we need a little bit extra space. So the bakery would open up for folks to come in their bakery in the mornings and have a place to spend some time and get to know their neighbors. So that's really what we're asking for.
All right, thank you. I'll go to you next.
Okay, me and you business.
Yeah. So Connor has owned 5 Points Coffee and Tea for the past 8 years. About 3 years ago, we met and worked on expanding to supply fresh baked goods for the coffee shop. We then acquired the building in July of 2023. And by December of the same year, we were up and running as a bakery, fully certified, and serving the 5 Points Coffee clientele specifically through their storefront. So as Connor said, through the expansion, we got a little busier, we obtained the building, and now we're just looking to open that up too. I think in opening it, it will give our current clients and customers a space to just further engage and grab, larger scaled baked goods and just additional options that aren't available over at the shop. And really open up primarily that seating. We have a patio space at the coffee shop as well as a couple tables inside, but it is rather small, especially for our crowds that gather, on the weekends or during a busier time. And that this building would just allow us to kind of have that space for people to go in addition to them buying the baked goods that we provide.
Okay, so sorry if I missed this, but where is the coffee shop in relation to the bakery space?
Directly across the road.
Okay, so right across
Yeah,
the street.
right
from
across the
that.
street, yeah.
Okay, understood. All right, any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I do have a question. So,
Spaces.
Councilman Slife mentioned that there are about 6 to 7 parking spots on the site currently. Are those parking spots being used by your staff? Or are they just open to the community to use?
The 4 located right in front of the building are open to customers. The alleyway that goes to the back of the building is rather small, so staff use those. And those would probably just stay staff parking. That way we're not worried about customers going down that narrow alleyway.
Okay. Chief Leonard, I can see that your hand is raised. Do you have additional comment?
Yeah, I just want to clarify why we did not count the parking in the front. That parking would violate the front yard setback. And so that would require a setback variance. Additionally, we didn't count alleyway parking because we can't count public parking as parking on site. And so that's why they need the 12 parking spaces. And Xavier or Nate can explain a little bit further about the purpose of that front yard setback and not allowing parking in the front.
So Chief, it's my understanding that there is a variance that had been granted to allow those 4 parking spaces. So should those spaces be considered in this analysis?
You said there was a variance previously for those 4 parking spaces?
It's my understanding it was issued in 1988 in calendar number 88-143. I can have Madam Secretary confirm that to make sure I understood that properly.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, the 4 parking spaces would be grandfathered in, and then they would only need 8
Okay.
unless you all change it today.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that. Jill, I can see that your hand is raised. Do you want to chime in?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify, the space between the building is, I don't know if it's really, it's more of a driveway than an alleyway. I don't think it's considered public. So we're looking at it's just access to the parking in the rear for employees. So we do account for 3 spaces in the back.
All right, thank you for that. Greg, you now have the floor. Do you have comment?
Yes, I do. I live on West Park, which is approximately, I'm about 6 houses from the corner. I see the councilman has lived in a building there that has a business, that has a beauty shop, and it has a yoga studio in it. And in front of that, there's a homemade, like vegetable, fruit selling tent that's been set up there all summer long. And the gentleman there has been distributing, selling goods there, Halloween goods now. The issue with the bakery is not an issue at all. Everything that Connor has put together over there is tremendous, is very good planning. The biggest problem that everybody has in the neighborhood on West Park is the traffic and the congestion and the danger. It is very, very dangerous on that corner. It is not a roundabout there. It's 5 points. There, people are just darting through it. Yesterday, a senior citizen truck from the Cleveland Clinic went down the street, had been going 50, 60 miles an hour. They dodged through that intersection. West Park is a cut through from Warren Road to Kent's Corner. Instead of going around, they cut through the neighborhood. And West Park is one of them. So with that in mind, the only problem that anybody has actually that I hear around here is the traffic and the safety. I've witnessed multiple times possible accidents that could possibly happen. I love the effect of all the younger people moving into the neighborhood. It's thriving. The prices are going up. My taxes went way up since I've been here since 1988. I've been here. I've seen all the changes. Very nice neighborhood, very good neighborhood. Everybody gets along. People that drive here, mostly with kids and with strollers. Well, they're limited to parking on the street, and they're all the way down to my house, all the way down the street. And they all mostly have SUVs in which they get out and they grab their kids out of the back seat and they go to the back of the SUV and they get their walker out. But meantime, they have to put the child down on the street. And there's a safety thing. I've seen children kind of dart to the middle of the street. You got to keep your eye on it. You got too many. You don't have enough hands to keep things going on, and you forget. Well, it's a side street. There's not that much traffic, but these kids are short, and there's cars stretched along the whole side street. All they got to do is poke out, and it's a story to be told.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yeah. So this is the main objection, I think, to the whole project is the parking and the traffic, and the sidewalks leading to there are terrible. And that puts the strollers and the people walking in the street because there's no broken sandstone sidewalks that have been replaced lately. So with that in mind, if the sidewalks are cleaned up and maybe on those busy days, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you put an off-duty policeman there to monitor the situation, that everybody abides by the law and the right thing to do as far as parking and not blocking driveways, yielding, stopping properly, full stops, and not speeding through there. This could resolve the problem.
all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Somerville, for your comments. Mr. Bay, can you chime in, please, regarding city planning's position on this?
Yep, thank you. We actually had a letter in from Nathan Lowell, the city planner for the area, as he was not able to make it this morning. So I'll just go ahead and read this into the record. So the letter states, city planning is in full support of the variances requested. This site is zoned for local retail, and any retail use would be required to have parking under the current code. It is important to note that the parcel is only 35 feet outside of the transportation demand management zone, which reduces parking minimums. Thus, it is being applied a level of scrutiny not shared by other properties in the nearby vicinity. And then he goes on to explain that the lot is rather tight, and so for the applicant to actually accommodate the zoning code and meet the full requirements of the parking, they'd have to demolish parts of their building. So we're just to summarize, we're in full support of the variance in question. We believe that it's contextual to the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I should just state for the record that we do have 17 letters of support. And I did have 19 letters of opposition, but Madam Chair, these were all dated before this hearing. This was when it was posted in the record as an event center. So I do not have any objection letters since this was posted as just a retail restaurant use.
Okay, and what about the letters of support? Are those also in support of the bakery, or are they in support of the event center?
They were in support of, these ones came in, I have a few that came in September. So those were in support of the current proposal. The ones before were dated from June, so they were supporting the event center.
Okay, got it. All right, I'm not hearing any questions from the board, so I will entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, I just had a thought. Looking at the parking that's in the front setback, if this is going to have more pedestrian traffic, I'm wondering if the parking spaces shouldn't be striped and that and that the entrance have a marked, excuse me, have a marked walkway so that people are not blocking the front entrance and that there is clear parking.
Okay, are you asking a question? Are you proposing this as a condition to the motion? What would you?
I think I'm asking it as a question.
Okay,
The business owners may know better what their traffic is going to be, but I think just for pedestrian safety, it might be wise to have a marked walkway to that front door of the building, and that the parking spaces be striped so that people are not trying to, park in places they're not supposed to be.
okay.
So,
Who would like to respond to that?
Yeah, I actually think that makes a lot of sense. So I hadn't actually thought about that, but yeah, because like there is like obviously the main door, and sometimes I've seen people park right in front of the door, for instance. So it's kind of like not so like we could definitely work to get some sort of lining to make it obvious that walkway stroke parking. I'm not sure, like I'd obviously have to think it through, and whether it's the city that does that, I don't know. I think it makes quite a lot of sense. I think it's a good suggestion.
Okay. All right, Ms. Fink, do you want to make a motion and add a condition?
yes, on calendar number 25-092, I move approval with the condition that the parking in the front setback be striped for each parking place. Tire bumpers already exist, so that's not a problem. And then that there is a marked walkway to the front entrance for pedestrian safety.
All right, thank you for that. Is there a second to the motion?
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, can we call the vote, please?
And Madam Chair, just to be clear to the appellant, this would be his responsibility to do the striping, and we would need an updated site plan before we ratify the variance. Okay, so Ms. Marcus, Mr. Madison, sorry, Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca? Yes. Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 25-092 is granted conditionally. We'll hold ratification until we get that revised site plan. Once we receive it, we'll ratify it that following Monday and send you a letter.
All right, you're all
Thank you.
set. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Mhm. We're now going to call calendar number 25-160. Is there an appellate here by the name of Zuli Aliverso? Oh, I can see that you're online.
Yes.
I'm sorry, say it
Oliveros.
again because I know I butchered it. Can you say it again?
Oliveros.
Oh, Oliveros. Okay, got it.
Yes.
All right, I'll
Perfect.
turn to Ms. Holzer to read in the case, please.
I'm just waiting for it to be pulled up on the screen. All right. Our next case is calendar number 25-160. This is at 1749 Alcoy Road, and it is a violation notice. Zuli Oliveros, owner, appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the notice of violation number V250-24486 issued on July 21st, 2025 by the Cleveland Department of Building and Housing for failure to comply with Section 358.04A of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, which states that fences in the front yard shall be at least 50% open, except in an actual side street yard. A fence that is set back at least 4 feet from the side street property line may be a maximum of 6 feet and may be open or solid. The front hedges are not in compliance. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, sorry. Am I good?
What's that?
I can swear in?
Yes,
All right, just
absolutely.
checking. Thank you. At this time, I will swear in those who are going to be speaking for this case. If you are present in the room, come forward. If you're just online, we'll start there as well. Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start online with you.
I do, Zuli Oliveros, 1749 Alcoy Road.
And can you please spell your name for the record?
Zully is my first name. I have a middle initial, M as in Mary, and my last name is Oliveros, Oliv as in Victor, Eros.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present, online or in the room? With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Do we have anyone who is going to speak on behalf of the city as it relates to this violation notice? Chief, you're raising your hand. Are you going to speak on behalf of the city?
Yes, I will.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for confirming that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing a violation notice issued by the Cleveland Department of Building and Housing. The standard of review is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. Oliveros, do you want to go ahead and tell us why you have made this appeal?
Yes. Basically for one of the reasons that the lady just said about, being no reason for it, basically, this is an old property, as you can see, and it's all kind of messed up because I don't live in Cleveland. I don't live in Ohio. I live in Florida. And I bought this property with the purpose of just living it there, to have some money saved. Okay. And I bought this property about 4 or 5 years ago, I believe, and I have done nothing to the property on the outside. If you see those pictures, like the fences, you're talking about some front yard fence. I do not have any fence in the front of the house, as you can see. Whatever fence is back there, it was there at the time when I bought the property. There was only one original owner from the beginning, and this property is from 1960 something years. And that fence, I don't know if that fence has been there since then or after. And then like that fence, if you see all the pictures that I sent, they go to a back street where there is only like a business, warehouses or something. It's not a transitated street or anything. And that fence, like there is like 4 houses, in that street, including mine. And that fence, was there the whole time since I bought it. I never installed or put anything. And that fence is not in the front, and it's not even 5 feet or 4 feet long, because I stand, next to it, and I'm 5 feet, and my head is above the fence, where I can see, to the patio of the house, and from the patio of the house to the street. And that fence is, is like you can see in the pictures, is just there, since I don't know when, and it's facing those warehouses. Now, all those bushes that are there, that were there, because I just cut them last month, all those bushes, are actually, on their side. I mean, are on their side over there growing, and it seems like they don't take care of it. So all the patio on that side of my house, is like also with bushes and everything from their side. And I'm the one who cuts them. And I'm, and I have no way of getting in and out from that fence or anything, because I did not do anything to it. I mean, I'm assuming all those 4 houses, next to me or, besides me, they have some sort of some fence or something too that was there before, probably even the same or after, I don't know. But then why am I getting, punished or, sending a violation for having something that it was there, before me? And it's supposed to be a grandfather kind of issue thing too, because of the, of the age of the house, and because of the businesses that are in front, that are the ones that have their fence on their side. Because after my house over there, it's like I have no property after that fence, at all.
All right, Chief, you want to chime in, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator. So this violation was written on July 21st, 2025. As it relates to the front yard, A fence under 35802 is considered an artificially constructed barrier of any material or materials erected to enclose, screen, or decorate areas of land. Fences can include walls, conifer trees, hedges, and earth berms that meet this definition. So at the time that the inspector wrote the violation, the hedges were widely overgrown and they thus got a violation of this of 358 in regards to fences and the need to be 50% open and no greater than 4 feet tall in the front yard.
All right, any questions from the board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, could I make one other statement?
Yes, of course.
We can be empathetic towards the applicant, but I think there's a responsibility on the property owner to maintain their property. And if they're out of state, they should probably hire in-state help. There's a variety of property managers throughout the greater Cleveland area that they could enlist to help them in all aspects of managing this property. But this is, the violation of the fence is a safety issue in terms of pedestrians in the neighborhood.
Yes,
Can
point well taken. I'm actually surprised that there wasn't further violations written on
There
this. Okay, that's not a surprise then. All right, any other questions from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion.
She raised her hand.
Oh, Ms. Oliveros, did you have a brief additional
Yes.
comment?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, go right
Yes, I
ahead.
do. Okay. Well, this is okay. This is the thing that I'm gonna say again. Okay. So why am I gonna have to pay for a violation that is like there is no? She said something about pedestrians going by. There is no pedestrians at all. After that fence, it's a parking lot. It's an empty parking lot for this warehouse. That there is not even cars parked there all the time or anything, because I've been there a few times and every time I go, that's an empty parking lot. It's just the fence and then the parking lot right in front of it. So there is no pedestrians, there is no traffic, there is no kids, there is no dogs, there is no walking around, there is nothing there. There is nothing there. And we are not talking about a front fence neither. So I don't know why I'm gonna be violating anything that is actually not happening. And about the bushes and taking care of the thing, yes, I can be blamed for that for some. Okay, but I've been taking care of it. I mean, as you can see, all is cut and everything, and it was cut before the fine, before the violation, supposedly at some point, and then it is now cut, everything, and clean, and it's gonna keep maintained that way. I didn't have access to the property as for what I explained on the letter that I sent.
Miss Oliveros, let me ask you one question. Do you have any photos that show that your bushes were less than 4 feet at the time of the violation, which was July 21st?
I don't think I have photos for that time. No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, it seems to me that maybe there is some confusion that I think the appellant may be thinking that we're talking about a structural fence in the front yard, as opposed to, as Ms. Leonard explained, that a fence may also be a hedge, as it is in this place, in this situation. And so I just want to make sure that the appellant is clear that we're not talking about a fence in the rear of the yard, that we're really talking about the front yard and the hedge acting as fencing, and that it is impeding the sight line for the driveways. If we could just get clarification on that.
Yeah, I think Chief Leonard made it pretty clear that the code says that it's not necessarily a actual fence, but it could also be, artificially constructed barriers. It could include walls, and it could also include trees. So hopefully, Ms. Oliveros, you heard Chief Leonard when she stated that, and that you understand that we're here on this particular violation notice because of the hedges that are in the front of the yard. So any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I think it also might be helpful to explain what the setback needs to be from the sidewalk for anything that is considered a fence like this hedges, and what the height and the setback needs to be from the public sidewalk. So
Yeah.
so that the appellant is clear on what needs to happen.
Do you want to go ahead and give your comment on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm asking if Mr. Bay wants to just clarify that point for us.
I can clarify.
Mr. Bay, was that Chief?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chief, you want to chime in? Go right ahead.
Yeah, so fences in front yards, whether they're made of hedges or typical wood or any other material, cannot be greater than 4 feet tall, and they have to be 50% open. So it doesn't matter if they're in the front yard setback, that means they can go up to the sidewalk. There's no setback from the sidewalk. In this case, the hedges need to be either cut or removed, essentially, because hedges are not 50% open. And so the hedges cannot be in the front.
All right. Thank you for that, Chief Leonard. I will entertain a motion from the board, please.
Madam Chair, given all the testimony that we've heard today, I move on calendar number 25-160 that we uphold the violation.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hoser. Can we call the vote?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca. Yes. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25-160 is denied. The decision of the city has been upheld. This will be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter.
All right. That concludes this matter. We're now going to call the next case, which is calendar number 25-161. Looks like we do have an appellant from Prospect Huron LLC present, so we'll have Ms. Hoser read in the case.
Our next case is calendar number 25-161. This is at 740 Prospect Avenue. Prospect Huron LLC owner proposes to change use from fitness center to tattoo and body piercing studio in a general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, I'll swear in those who are present for this case. If you are online, please raise your hand as well, and we'll come your way. Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name. For the record, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start right here in the room with you, sir.
I do. Rico Pietro, R-I-C-O, P-I-E-T-R-O, Independence, Ohio.
Thank you.
I do. Sylvia Iorio, Silvia Iorio.
Wait, can you spell your last name again?
Iorio.
An address, please, just for the record.
Cleveland, Ohio, 1312 West Boulevard.
Thank you. We'll move on.
Can I get an address from you, Mr. Petro?
6100.
Oh.
6100 Rockside Woods Boulevard, Suite 200, Independence, Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to line. Josh.
I do. Josh Hurtuk, Joshhurtuk, 1500 West 3rd Street, Suite 300, Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present? If so, please come forward.
Feel free to put a chair.
That chair on the side
forward.
And please hit the green button. Yeah, perfect.
Alex Friedman, AlexFriedman. I do. 111 Superior Avenue East, Suite 2700, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present that would like to be sworn in for this case? Seeing none, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you for that. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We weren't able to find very many records on the 740 Prospect Avenue, but we did see that it is in a range. We did find many permits for the range of 736 through 750 Prospect. It was erected, the building was erected in 1914. The zoning was established in 1929. There is one variance on file in calendar 97-47 in 1997. This board granted a variance to convert 42 dwelling units on the second floor. Sorry, they were offices originally, and they requested to convert to 42 dwelling units on the second floor, second through eighth floors, I apologize. And that was granted on April 21st, 1997 without any conditions.
And what was that calendar number?
Calendar 97-47.
Got it.
No, that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
All right, can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to the project team. Who wants to speak first on behalf of Prospect Huron LLC?
Good morning, Rico Petro. So we own this property, the first floor of the property. The upper floors are, as I'd mentioned from the previous variance, residential condominium units. This unit was previously Orange Theory Fitness. They've experienced a downfall in membership since COVID and have gone out of business. We have located Cleopatra Inc., which is the global leader in tattoo and artistry. They have locations, 140 locations globally. They have locations in Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus, all urban settings, including the Short North High Street area in Columbus, if you're familiar with that. We spent the better part of a year recruiting them to come to Cleveland. We have signed a lease with them pending approval by this board. And their hours of operation are from 10 to 9 p.m., so not overly late at night. They are looking to provide this use to the district and to our regional community, and we're hopeful to get the support of the required variances. We're not exactly sure why we need them, but we want to just be happy to answer any other questions that the board may have.
All right, thank you for that. Do you want to give comment?
Sure.
Okay, just state your name and go right ahead.
Sylvia Ario, representing downtown Cleveland. We're in support of this project for business attraction purposes downtown. As we all know, retail has been difficult since COVID, and so when a business like this shows interest, it's a very good thing in a city like Cleveland and our downtown. It's a pleasure to show that we're all in collaboration with bringing businesses like this downtown, and so we were excited to see that they had this interest, and especially as one business goes out and to be able to fill the storefront rather quickly. So we are in support of this variance.
All right, thank you for that. And do you want to give your comment? State your name and go right ahead.
My name is Alex Friedman. I am an attorney at McCarthy, Levitt, Coastal, and Liftman. I'm here on behalf of 811 Prospect Avenue LLC. We are the owners of an adjacent property which is located across the street from the proposed variance site. And in our property, we have a restaurant and we have a wellness center, and we are objecting to the proposed variance because we do not feel like a tattoo parlor fits with the character of the nature of the surrounding neighborhood, with multiple restaurants and, some residential areas, and bringing a, 10 to 9. That's not necessarily the hours that in this area we want. And we don't think that it necessarily fits the surrounding area and detracts, the intended people who want to come. And we want it to be more of a familiar area, and bringing in property owner or a tenant like this, we don't feel really agrees with the rest of what is surrounding the area. So we object on those grounds.
And can you state once more who you're representing again?
811 Prospect Avenue LLC.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Josh Hertuck, do you want to give your comment?
I have nothing to add to what Rico provided.
All right. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, yes, I have just a few questions. So your hours are 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. How many employees will this business have? And then will it be appointment only or walk-in?
Wonderful question. There can be anywhere from 1 to 7 stations. So that could be 1 to 7 tattoo parlor employees. And there is walk-in possibles. These are not decisions that are always made immediately, but you can go and learn about the tattoo artistry that they have. Their tagline is where artistry meets skin. Again, global leader in this with 140 locations, outstanding outfit, has a location near other restaurants, other bars in Columbus. This is where these kind of locations go. Yeah.
And then I didn't catch the name of this establishment.
Cleopatra Inc.
Cleopatra. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, just to follow up to Ms. Roca's question,
Mhm.
the appellant stated hours of 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., but I didn't state the days of the week.
Their hours may change, but as of what they have in Columbus, they're open 7 days per week.
Okay.
All right. Madam Secretary, you had a comment?
I have a letter from Councilman Starr. And he writes that the city, sorry, I was trying not to read the entire thing. I was trying to summarize it, but I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing. I'm writing to you in my capacity as the city council member for Cleveland Ward 5, which encompasses the area downtown that includes the building situated at 740 Prospect Avenue, commonly referred to as Point at Gateway. The City of Cleveland Planning Commission has previously rejected an application to change the use of a portion of the building at 740 Prospect Avenue from fitness center to a tattoo and piercing studio. This rejection was primarily based on concerns regarding the proximity of the proposed use to a two-family residential district located at the rear of the lot. While I understand that such restrictions may serve as essential use controls in certain contexts, I believe this particular situation warrants a different consideration. The proposed change in use will not impede delivery of governmental services, will not significantly alter the character of the surrounding neighborhood, nor will it be detrimental to the neighboring properties. Furthermore, the operation aligns with the spirit and intent of the existing zoning regulations. The prospective operator is a reputable first-class establishment with a global presence, which aligns with the ongoing development objectives for the area. I hereby express my full support for granting a variance to allow the establishment of a tattoo and piercing studio at 740 Prospect Avenue. I encourage the board to give expedited consideration to this matter so that the new talent may commence operations at the earliest opportunity. Richard Starr, Ward 5.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any comments from city planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. We're in support of the variances requested. This location is downtown Cleveland. There's a lot of other entertainment uses around the area. It doesn't seem like this is more of a intense use than what's happening in the context. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say.
Okay. And to the appellant, can we put the legal standard on the screen, please? I just want to have you speak to one of the points that you must prove, which I think I've heard the other two, but I want to ask you, if you're denied this variance, how will it create a practical difficulty that's not generally shared by other land or buildings in your district?
Josh, do you want to comment here, or would you like me?
I'm happy to. So the practical difficulty here primarily relates to the difficulty in finding tenants for retail business buildings in this area, which is necessary for the continued beneficial use of the property. The alternative is having empty storefronts, which is not something anybody wants, particularly when we don't believe this use is going to alter the general character of the neighborhood.
All right, thank you for that. All right, any other questions from the board? All right, I entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, hearing testimony that we've heard on calendar number 25, I move approval.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Do we have a second?
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca? Yes. Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Count number 25-161 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck with your project. All right, we'll call the next case, which is calendar number 25-163. Do we have anyone present from Meadow City?
Yes, this is Julie Slater from Meadow City.
Oh, perfect. All right, we have an appellant present. I'll have Ms. Holzer read in the case, please.
And Madam Chair, it looks like Meadow City is the appellant for the next three cases. And there's also another case on Sylvia, 25-166. Should I read all four?
I'm a fan of a bundle. Let's do it.
Cool. Our next four cases include calendar number 25-163. This is at 14505 Sylvia Avenue. I'm going to check to make sure they all have the same variance requests. 5804A35. It looks like they're all the same. Okay. Our next four cases include calendars number 25-163 at 14505 Sylvia Avenue. Calendar number 25-164 at 14501 Sylvia Avenue. Calendar number 25-165 at 14487 Sylvia Avenue. And calendar number 25-166 at 14491 Sylvia Avenue. In the first three cases, Meadow City the appellant proposes to install approximately 94 linear feet of 6-foot high deer fence in an actual front yard and actual interior side yard on a City of Cleveland owned property located in a 2-family zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And then on calendar number 25-166, the appellant is different. Here, the City of Cleveland proposes to install approximately 43 linear feet of 6-foot high deer fence in an actual front yard on a City of Cleveland owned property in a 2-family zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, we will swear in those who are present for this case. If you are online, please raise your hand at this time, virtual hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please reply if I do. State your name and spell your name for the record and provide an address.
I do. My name is Julie Slater, JULIESLATER, and my address is 25740 Lakeshore Boulevard, Euclid, Ohio.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present that would like to speak to this case? Seeing none, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We only found permit information in our Records Administration Office for the address of 14501 and 14505 Sylvia Avenue. We found that for 14501 Sylvia in 1915, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling. And for the 14505 Sylvia, a permit was issued also in 1915 to erect a 2-story dwelling and garage. And then we also see in our Records Administration Office for the address of 14501 that a permit was issued to, demolish a single-family masonry dwelling. And for 14505, we found a permit to demolish a 2-story dwelling in 1960. And there are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. We'll now go to you, Ms. Slater. Do you want to give your comment?
Sure, yes. I own Meadow City Native Plant Nursery, which is up the road to the east of this property. We grow native plants for gardeners and for conservation projects. This site we're planning to use as a native seed garden. So we will be, it'll be a garden with native perennials that bloom throughout the year. And we're going to access this site by foot to collect seeds, which we'll be using to grow plants for sale at our nursery. The property is along the I-90 Marginal Road. If you remember, like some of the other properties we've requested and received variances for, there aren't any neighboring houses. The next house on Sylvia Avenue, there's actually a currently vacant lot that sits between the lots that we're leasing and that home. So there are no direct neighbors except, to the north of the property. And we're requesting a 6-foot fence to protect against deer. And in this case, we also wanted to request the use of alternative material. I think I submitted some photos that would show it, but we wanted to use kind of a deer fence material so that, well, it's okay if it doesn't show up, but anyway, it's like a polypropylene deer fencing, which will allow the garden to be visible from the sidewalk. And in the future, it's also sort of, it's movable so that in the future, if we were to expand to the east or to the west, where there are some privately owned vacant lots, it would not be too difficult to do so. But we think it will be, quite an attractive solution, and people walking by will be able to see the garden inside.
All right, thank you for that. Any comments from city planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. We're in support of the variances for the fencing here. As was mentioned, this property is directly across from I-90, and so there's not much residential context directly across the street or directly adjacent to the property on the left and right. And we also like to see that this has more openness so that people could actually see some of the beauty that might be happening behind the fencing. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. Do we have any correspondence in this, Madam Secretary?
I do not see any in the file.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Meadow City has become a frequent flyer with us, so we're happy to have them back. This is a great project. And I'm sure you're sensitive to this, but the deer fencing, what is its impact on on any of the birds? Is there a risk at all for any of the birds to get caught in the grid of the fence?
That's a great question. Sometimes people use fencing has very thin polypropylene netting that birds can get caught in. This is like a heavy duty polypropylene deer fencing that I don't believe that they could get caught on. It's up close, it's pretty visible, and it's not the kind that would like snag on feathers. Certainly that, I think if we did notice that there was an issue with birds getting caught, I mean, the reason we do the nursery is because we love birds, so we would probably change materials, but I don't believe that this would be the case with this material.
Do you know the size of the grid at all?
Let's see, I'd have to look it up. I think it might be about 1 inch. But if I have a moment, I can check on it.
That's okay. That's fine.
I could also. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm looking at it. It looks to me, if your drawing is to scale, it looks to me like it's probably large enough that it's not going to be an issue. And again, given what you do, and we know you pretty well by now, I'm sure that you would be sensitive to make any changes necessary. So I'm good.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith.
I just like to mention too, that I happen to have some experience with deer fencing in my day job. And this is a very common type of deer fencing that's used, in park areas and private property uses as well. So it's not uncommon to see this type of deer fencing.
All right, thank you for that. Madam Secretary, you want to chime in?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a correction. I do have an email from Councilman Polensek supporting the variances as he has in the past. He states that he believes that the fence would enhance the area as well as provide further protection for plantings on these parcels from salt and other road pollution. These parcels are unlikely to be used for another purpose. Any other development of these properties will yield a reasonable return in the form of income and sales tax to the Cuyahoga County and the city of Cleveland. He's been in discussions with Ms. Slater regarding her plan since the beginning, and he is impressed by the thought and reasons behind her endeavors here. This is a historical site, and a development along these lines harkens to that history while being innovative and complementary to the needs of the community today. If we have any questions, we can contact him. Michael D. Polensek, Ward 8. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions from the board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, given the testimony we've heard today, and our familiarity with Meadow City and its owner, I move approval of our calendar numbers in this bundle: 25-163, 25-164, 25-165, and 25-166.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Is there a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right, can we call the vote?
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar numbers 25-163 through 25-166 are granted. They will be ratified on Monday. We will send the appellant a letter, but she can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
All right, good luck with your project.
Thank you very much. I think this is our last fence for the foreseeable future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. All right, we're going to call the next case, which is calendar number 25-123. Do we have an appellant present from Gill House LLC?
Hi, I'm here. I'm the owner, one of the owners of the gas station. Gill House LLC are our landlords, and they signed a document stating that we were allowed to handle this hearing without them being present.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Holzer, to read in the case.
Our next case is calendar number 25-123. This is at 5011 Clark Avenue. Again, this is a violation notice. Gill House LLC owner appeals under the authority of section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the notice of violation number V250-17517 issued on May 29, 2025 by the Cleveland Department of Building and Housing for failure to comply with section 327.02B and C of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, which state that there shall be no change, substitution, or extension in the use of any building or premises until the required use permit and certificate of occupancy has been issued by the Division of Building and Housing. Per section 347.21, any establishment using 20% or more of floor, shelf, and or display areas individually and or in aggregate for the sale of smoke shop products is defined as a smoke shop and requires an application and approval from the Department of Building and Housing. This is filed on July 16, 2025. This case was postponed from August 25th due to a lack of 5 members being present. No testimony was taken at that time. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, I will swear in those who are present and would like to speak for this case. Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name and spell your name for the record, and provide an address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start here in the room and then we'll move online. We'll start here with you.
Hi, my name is Michael Glazer, Glazer. I'm an assistant law director with the city of Cleveland, and I'm not here to provide testimony, but I am here to make legal argument and inquire of the witnesses. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move online.
Yep, I do. My name is Nico Fung Chung. That's NIKKO FUNGCHUNG. And the address for the record.
Wait, that came through a little distorted. Can you state your address again?
Trisket Road, Cleveland, Ohio.
All right, we got Trisket Road. What did you say before that?
15109.
All right, we have that. And did you say I do?
I did. Yes, I do. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present online that would like to speak to the case? I'm seeing none, Madam Chair. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that. We'll go to legal, please.
All right, okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing a violation notice issued by the Cleveland Department of Building and Housing. The standard of review is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed.
All right, thank you. We will start with you, Ms. Fung Chung. Can you please tell us about your appeal?
Oh, okay, sure thing. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. My first time doing something like this. But what we are appealing are the violations that were posted. A couple of them.
Uh-oh, hold on a second. I've got to stop you because it kind of garbled a little bit. If maybe you want to turn off your video and that might help your service.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure we're hearing everything you say.
Okay,
All right,
can you hear
let's
me
try
better
it
now?
again. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. So we had some violations posted. One was, as you mentioned, it says illegal occupancy conversion without required permits. The other is operation as a smoke shop, and the third was alteration or enlargement without a permit. Just to quickly speak to the two about the conversion and the enlargement, we leased this property from Ronald Jacobson. He no longer owns this property. And prior to us signing our lease, like when we found the location, he was having work done on the space. He assured us at that time that he had all the paperwork and permits in place to do that work. He advised that he was fixing the basement and the bathroom and that this space was zoned for retail. He said that he had businesses there previously, and that all we would need to do is set up our business stuff, our tax stuff. And if there was anything we needed to do with the health department, we should handle that. So we went ahead and took those steps while he was doing this work on the building. I do understand that there was also an apartment at the back. I am not quite sure when that was added, but that apartment is still there. The tenants have changed since the time that Ronald owned the building. What I can speak directly to is the violation stating that we're operating as a smoke shop. We have never operated as or marketed ourselves as a smoke shop. We don't want to be a smoke shop. We actually set out to create like a third space where people could go that was not, based around alcohol. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of clubs, there's not a lot of places where people can go and not spend a ton of money and just have a good time. We host game nights, we have open mics, we have a chess club. In the neighborhood before we got there, there wasn't anything, honestly. We were the only place that people could go just to have fun. We serve tea, we serve coffee, we serve baked goods, we serve regular corner store snacks. We sell merchandise, clothing, local clothing designers, our own brands, as well as some resale items like sneakers and things like that can also be purchased there. There is the option to infuse. They can infuse any of their beverages should they choose to, but that is not a requirement. Our menu has options for both. We do sell a few items that may be smoke shop related, but it definitely does not take up 20% or more of our retail space. And that, the sole purpose of our business. We did not know that we needed to get a new occupancy permit at the time, as we were told again that was already handled. And that is our fault because, we were new and we trusted what the landlord was saying. We did go to the health department and submit our application. We paid the $450. The woman there looked over everything and provided us a list to make sure that our equipment was up to standard. And we went forward from there. When we were advised of this oversight, we did submit the application right away. And at that time, I guess our application was put into question, stating that we were a smoke shop. But we have repeatedly stated that we are not one. We don't want to be one. We feel like we add a lot of value to the community. We employ members of the community, and we don't want to be seen as just another smoke shop. We want to be something else. And just as like a cafe is not a pet store, I feel like we should be able to operate in that space that, yes, this is the theme, but that is not what we're going for. Even the name, the gas station, is a play on the popularity of gas stations in Cleveland. Like that is just a part of Cleveland culture. And we just want to be able to be in compliance, but not be forced to be categorized as a smoke shop, if that's possible. And we're eager and happy to work with the city to get in compliance. And if there's something that we need to change, then we're happy to do so.
All right, thank you for that. Attorney Glazer, do you want to question the witness?
Provide
Yes.
some feedback also.
Chief, yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, Chief Shannon Leonard, zoning administrator. So when the inspectors went out on April 17th, as well as the May, so there was a violation issued on April 24th, as well as May 30th, they witnessed that this establishment was operating as a smoke shop. If you can pull up the list of items that she was in the presentation. So a smoke shop includes all of these items, other tobacco products, accessories, the THCA flower, consumable hemp products, all of those items together or in the aggregate was greater than the 20%. And so they were operating outside of that. Now, we did receive an application to change the use to a coffee shop, but the inspector had reported that, everything that that was affiliated with this business in terms of marketing and the things that they witnessed when they wrote the violation letter amounted to being a smoke shop. If they are just going to be a cafe, we can't legally say that they can sell consumable hemp products. That's against state law in terms of in restaurants and things of that nature that the law department can discuss. Thank you.
Okay. By any chance, Chief Leonard, did your inspector take any photos of what was seen on either inspection date?
I don't have access to the photos, but we can ask them for them.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, Attorney Glazer, you're on the floor.
Thank you. Just a few questions. Ms. Feng Chung, as you had said, you did not have, at the time of the violation notice, you did not have the use permit to operate as a smoke shop. Is that correct?
That's correct. Because again, we never set out to be a smoke shop. And at the time of signing our lease, Mr. Ronald Jacobson advised us that that particular store was cleared to be a retail store. And so again, not knowing, because first time having a brick and mortar in the city of Cleveland, we accepted that information, went ahead, did the application that the health department has on their website, because that was the instructions we were given when we made a couple of visits to the health department and to City Hall. We followed those steps, we paid the fee, and we received information from that department that we needed to have a certain list of equipment. So those were the steps that we followed. We did not know that the occupancy permit that was there previously was not good for us. When we found that out, we filled out the application.
Okay. And at the time of the inspection, as Chief Leonard had said, it was determined that more than 20% of the area was devoted to smoke shop products. Do you have anything, and you had said that you do not believe that it's 20% devoted to smoke shop products. Do you have anything showing how the space was allocated and how much was devoted to the smoke shop products as described in the ordinance?
Yes. So I did try to provide like a shelf set up. I was not present the day that he arrived. I did see him on camera when he was there. I don't know what it is that he was. I can assure you that we do limit it to just that front case counter because, again, that's not what our business is centered around. We have a library, we sell books, we have art supplies, we have so many things on our shelves in addition to those items that it would not come out to 20%. And in regards to our marketing, I find that a little odd only because a lot of our marketing isn't even about smoking. Like we use a lot of vintage and retro posters for our artwork. None of it is about marijuana. There's a lot of stuff about tea parties and tea time. We have posters about chess club and open mic night, but nothing on our walls that specifically says, you know, smoke shop.
Okay.
And actually, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The
go ahead.
windows, he asked us to take coverings off the windows. Even those photos, it was just using a gas station pump. Those are not, see how he made us take those down. We had it in the window. And the reason we had those coverings is because, as I said, when we first moved in there was nothing else going on. It was actually a little bit dangerous at the time. We made several calls and emailed the mayor's office. And those are things we wouldn't have done if we thought we were operating, you know, incorrectly. We were just trying to do business and be safe doing it. So we put those up so that people from outside weren't staring at us inside or watching our customers come and go because of the safety concerns.
Okay. And well, I think here today, you know, the question that we're looking at is the validity of the violation notice. And in terms of looking forward, what the business is going to look like and the type of business it's going to be, you know, I can appreciate the the ideas that you have for it and that you don't want to operate as a smoke shop. However, at the time of the violation notice, it was determined by the inspector that it was operating as a smoke shop with more than 20% of the space devoted to smoke shop products. So, looking forward, I think there may be a way to operate, not as a smoke shop. However, at the time, it was determined by an inspector to be operating in that way, and I don't think we've seen anything to overcome that, and that is all I have from the city. Thank you.
Do you have any photos from the inspector showing sort of what the layout was and what he saw on the day of the inspection?
I do not.
Okay. And then Ms. Feng Chung, the legend and sort of depictions of the space that you put on the screen regarding what's in the smoke shop, is that something that reflects current day, or is that something that reflects the time that this citation was issued?
That is how it always was. The only thing that has changed is we got a new refrigerator because our old one broke. So the new refrigerator is just slightly wider than the one that was there previously. But I actually, depending on the dates, like I can pull up photos, I can pull up possibly footage from those dates to show that it was as I'm stating here. We don't have any professional photos, but we have tons from like social media and everything. I think if someone was to visit today or had visited in the past, like if you were to ask someone in the neighborhood, they would also state that that's not what we were doing there. Like it really is just meant to be a space for the community to come together. And the only reason why we think it like that is because, like myself, I don't drink alcohol, and there's just not any spaces for people who don't indulge in that way. Mostly everything is like bars included, and not so much for people who, you know, find other ways to relax.
Okay, can we go back to the photo that sort of is in outline or drawing of the entire space? Yes. All right, can you explain to us, based on this drawing, where the smoke shop products are located?
Counter C, that front counter, not the one that's towards the window, the longer counter. They're in that counter there. And then on top of,
I'm sorry, you are breaking up a little bit. I'm gonna have you turn your video back off because it worked really well when you did it that way. So we heard you say counter C is where smoke shop products are, and you were telling us another space.
or not the one that's facing the window. So counter C is where those products are located.
Okay, so do you mean
Just that, the long one. The one that's turned towards the window, we have like t-shirts in there. We have some books in there that we sell. We have like air freshener stuff, mints, things like that, but nothing smoke related. We even have like on top of it, we have like a bracelet display with some little jewelry things that people can buy. We have stickers, stuffed animals.
All right, so it's your testimony that only one shelf that has the letter C on it has smoke shop products. Are we hearing you correctly?
That's correct. And on that counter, there is also a little a little display, a tiny display. That's where like the consumable items are. But that is like it's on the legend. It's not big. It's like a little bakery display.
Okay, so in the shelf that is labeled C, there are smoke shop items in addition to other non-smoke shop items. Is that your testimony?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, got it. Thank you. Chief Leonard, do you wanted to chime in? I see your hand. I don't know if it's an old one though.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I mean, it's, if possible, this could be postponed and we could have the 3 inspectors that have been to this establishment come at the next hearing.
All right. I mean, is there any reason they're not here today?
Tom Vanover wasn't available on Friday or Thursday when we didn't coordinate properly.
Understood. All right.
Madam Chair, at a minimum, it would be helpful to have some pictures because right now all we have is the testimony and we don't have any real solid facts on what the inspectors saw.
I mean, that's the standard. The standard is there any probative evidence? And if we're not seeing probative evidence, I think we surely have something before us. You know, it's the appellant's burden to prove, you know, what these allegations are stating. And it seems to me that she's working to do that. I will entertain, you know, maybe a vote on a continuance. If all the board members agree to continue, then we can certainly do that. So can we call the vote?
Ms. Faith?
Sure, yeah.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes. All right, so we will continue this. Ms. Feng Chung, there's been a motion by the Chief Zoning Administrator for a continuance of this hearing to allow the inspectors to be present to give testimony about what happened on the day of inspection. Chief Leonard, how much time do you think you need to coordinate your inspectors?
I can get them coordinated this week.
Okay, so then we can continue this to which date, Madam Secretary?
I'm looking at November 10th or the 17th.
November 10th or the 17th. Do we have anything sooner?
We could put it on the 3rd. It might be a long day, but if you want to squeeze it on the 3rd, we could do that.
If it's already full, then no.
No. Please no.
So then, yes. Okay, so then let's do November 10th. We'll postpone this to November 10th, and at that time, hopefully we'll have some inspectors present to testify on behalf of these violation notices. All right, that concludes this particular matter. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll see you back on November 10th. And I'm looking through my agenda. I think that was the last case we had to call. Yeah, I think we've gotten through them all. We'll now move to old business. I'm looking at calendar numbers 1 through 8 that are up for ratification. Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
I was not present, so.
All right,
Yeah,
those
we'll do
are
that.
all without objection, so we'll ratify those, and that concludes the old business. It's 11:05, and we will adjourn. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.